I'm making this video in order to show support to people who are speaking out against Islamists, especially radical Islamists. Islam is actually not just religion, it's a political ideology. And the religion is just so that they can escape any criticism of what they are doing. What they want to do is enforce Sharia law and take over the political systems of the world, the governments of the world, and have everybody living under Sharia law. Sharia law is oppressive to women. It denies many human rights to many people. If you are non-Muslim and you do not pay a jizya, which is a tax, and basically live your life as inferior to Muslims, the penalty is pretty much death. They do not accept gays at all. Their penalty for being gay is death. It is very oppressive to women, and the abuses that women suffer are tremendous. They have to wear a hijab. It's been pretty disturbing to see people saying they want to support Muslim women, so in solidarity they'll have a hijab day. And really what you're doing is showing solidarity to their oppressors. A hijab is meant to show the world that following Islam or being a Muslim is superior to everybody else. It is meant to oppress women. If you see a Muslim woman saying she chooses to wear it, the best description I have heard for this has been from Jamie Glazov, Glazov, of the Glazov gang, where he states that these women are basically prisoners, and they, to curry favor with their enslavers or confiners, they will publicly state that they choose to wear it, because to not wear it or to publicly state that they do not wish to wear it could result in beatings for them, acid thrown in their face, imprisonment, death. So they're not able to speak freely. So, for the feminists of the West, I would think that if you really care about other women, you would speak out against this, not wear it and show solidarity for it. Then there's also the child brides. I can't think of anything more oppressive than young children under the age of 10 being forced into a marriage with much older men. So it just, when people sit there and say, if you speak out against Islam, you're a racist. Number one, Islam, followers of Islam, it's not just limited to one race. Number two, you want to say that you're being hateful if you speak out against Islam, when really the people who speak out against it are concerned for humanity. They don't want to see people oppressed or killed. So that is a false label. Actually, in studying Islam, I can't imagine anything more racist or bigoted than what you see in Islamic teachings. That anybody non-Muslim is inferior, that gays deserve to be put to death, that women are less than human and deserve to be mistreated in the most horrific of ways. When we're being told to be tolerant of an ideology that is intolerant of humanity, I just find that beyond hypocritical and just disturbing, that you see people defending something so indefensible. So I'm not coming from a place of hate. I'm coming from a place of care, concern, and love for humanity. Now, some of the things that happens with Islamists is they are deceptive. Their teachings are to deceive the people that do not follow Islam. So they have 4 methods of lying about Islam. You have taqiyya, deceit for the purposes of spreading Islam. You have tariya, deceit by ambiguity. You have kitman, deceit by omission. And you have murana, deceit by temporary suspension of Sharia law, of their Sharia ways. When I have tried to discuss things with moderate Muslims in my trying to understand what's going on, many times I catch them in a lie, and I'll say, well, doesn't your Quran teach that? Or, didn't Muhammad's biography say this? When they're caught in a lie, they become very insulting, at times threatening physical violence. This peaceful religion idea, it's very easy to scratch the surface and see that they really are not as peaceful as they are claiming. All you have to do is look around the world and see the terrorist attacks, many of which do not get reported in the news. I'm not sure why that is. Some people try to claim it's racism if it's not reported in African countries. What I think it is you have each country focusing more on the news that's kind of local to them or with people that are similar. And it could also be that it happens so often in Islamic countries that it's kind of like, oh, another day, another terrorist attack, so it doesn't get reported. I know that sounds terrible, but I think it might be that as well. But it is happening more often than we even realize. We also have refugees going in to various countries, mainly Western countries. When the refugees get there, there is not any sense of gratitude from stuff that I've been paying attention to. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of violence. And it's like, if you're a refugee in a desperate situation and a country opens its doors and says, we want to make sure you're safe and take care of you, you would think there'd be some gratitude, some willingness to try to get along with the people within that country. There have been rape epidemics, and there have been lots of cover-ups from government and law enforcement officials because they are so afraid of a backlash against Islamists that they are failing to protect their citizens. So this is all very disturbing. And instead of, I know there will be people who will knee-jerk scream and yell about bigotry and Islamophobia. Even the guy in, I think, Britain that coined the phrase Islamophobia said, I really wish I had never made up that phrase because there really isn't such a thing as Islamophobia. Phobia is a fear of something without any reason. Being concerned about something when you see jihadist attacks, suicide bombings, beheadings, acid attacks, children. I just don't know how to get through to people. Children being forced into marriages. And even the male children are not spared from some horrific pedophilia type treatment. So it's all in concern for humanity. We should be willing to speak the truth. Now, you don't have to take my word for it, and I certainly am no expert, but I have read from people who are experts on it. One, a lady that on Facebook, Anyaz Annie Cyrus, AYNAZANNICYRUS. She lived in the Islamic Republic of Iran, and she was not a Muslim, but she was forced to practice Islam. And she had a harrowing life. Uh, she was thrown in prison as a young teenager for really not doing anything wrong. She received lashes. She was in an abusive marriage, which is the norm over there. And she managed to escape. And she managed to come here, and she's, safer, not as safe, because there are people that want to kill her because she's daring to speak the truth about what she experienced. There's also an ex-Muslim YouTuber. His name on there is I.S. You can start with Heart to Heart with the Next Muslim, and he has many other videos that explain a lot about Islamic beliefs. You have Bill Warner, PhD. He has some excellent videos. He's done some excellent podcasts that explain things in a very easy, compact way to understand them. He also has some books out, Islamic Trilogy and the Simple Quran. We also have Pam Geller, Gellar. We have Robert Spencer. Brigitte Gabrielle, so that's Brigitte. Gabrielle is Gabriel. Another friend I've made is Julie Ann Statham. That's Julie-Ann, Statham, Statham, and she became alarmed about what she was seeing, so she has really studied this stuff and can break it down from somebody kind of new learning it. She has some excellent videos. I don't want to see nastiness and violence come out of any of this. I want people to understand what we're dealing with, because the only way to come to a solution is to get at the truth. I think that maybe there are some Muslims that follow Islam that don't fully understand or fully subscribe to what they're following. But the thing is that I am not a religious person, but I have not seen any other religion be so intolerant, hateful, just vicious. No other religion is calling for killing of anybody that doesn't believe as they do, or killing apostates, which means people who leave the religion, or of sorry, interruption there, or of calling for the killing of gays. Maybe I've missed something, but as far as I can tell, the only ones doing that follow Islam. So before calling people names that are trying to educate, please educate yourselves. Before defending something that may be indefensible, learn something about it. I'm all for tolerance. I'm all for letting people peacefully coexist. The more I'm learning, the less that I believe that Islam follows that same path. And the less I believe that we can peacefully coexist. Another thing is, I've heard a lot about how the West is a rape culture. Well, the Western cultures do not condone child brides. We do not tell people if someone does not have the same culture as we do, you have the right to go out and rape them. Islam says that they're allowed to rape and make sex slaves of anybody non-Muslim. I find that incredible that the feminists of the West are so busy attacking people that do not condone rape, that do not commit rape in the West, calling it the rape culture, and then they ignore what is widespread in Islamic communities. I wish that weren't true, but everything I'm seeing, that seems to be true. So if you really are for women's rights, you would want to see women freed from the oppression of wearing a hijab, freed from being told that they are less than half a person. You want to see them free from child marriages, free from beatings from their husbands. I mean, there are parts in the teachings that say the man has the right to beat the wife. So just please educate yourselves if you're going to get into this discussion. I think that our children deserve for the adults to stand up for their safety, their well-being, their future. If you aren't concerned about that, the here and now is also a concern. To hear that gays are being killed just for being gay is incredibly harrowing to hear about. I don't know how else to put it. To see the results of women having acid thrown in their face, it's a shame. Beautiful, beautiful women that will never recover from these acid attacks for not doing anything wrong. I wish people would educate themselves before defending something so awful. I remember watching an imam stating there are no moderate Muslims, and when he turned the camera to pan around on his audience, he said, who here counts as a moderate Muslim? They all raised their hands. And it was, well, who here thinks that a woman should be stoned to death for adultery? They all raised their hands. And adultery in Islamic rules, if a woman is raped, she could be found guilty of adultery. Her father can accuse her of adultery. That sounds a bit bizarre. So these are all things to really consider, really think about. I know people are doing something called virtue signaling, which is they want to pretend like they're virtuous. So they do a knee-jerk, I'm going to defend any criticism against Muslims or Islam. And all I can say to that is practice some real virtue. It takes more effort, but it is a more compassionate way to be in life, to actually stand up for those that are being oppressed or persecuted.